Welcome to short highlights of the 6th stage of 7 in this, the 82nd edition of the Tour de Pologne. So many riders had been waiting for this moment, the expected Queen stage the day before tomorrow's final time trial, in order to use this lap, a 48-kilometre lap on the edge of the Tatra Mountains, riding up into the Bukovina resort 3 times over, and every lap taking on 2 vicious first category climbs, the Harnash wall and the Bukovina wall, both with vicious ascents. Bukovina wall with 23% maximum gradient. 2 really nasty climbs, a very attritional route, and as you might expect, a big battle to get into the breakaway today as well on this Saturday stage. And we had initially 2 enormous breakaways. Timo Kilic was in them and set about, of course, making sure that King of the Mountains jersey he had on already would definitely be his come the end of the time trial on Sunday. I can tell you it is, because he kept going at it and put the whole thing out of doubt. We had actually a fascinating breakaway, because in there, eventually we would have Matthew Brennan and Olav Koy, the 2 stage winners from previously in the race. There was Olav Koy, there was Matthew Brennan coming along, and almost wanting to join the sprinter in the breakaway party, Paul Magnier doing likewise, the Frenchman riding across to this group too. It was a fascinating breakaway that lasted a long time into this stage, although I have to say, the steep ascents of those 2 walls each lap really took their toll, particularly on the sprinters. Olav Koy and Matthew Brennan getting dropped off. Brennan surviving the best of the 2 of them, but every time, the first couple of times up them, just look at that, winding their way back on, reminding us just how multifaceted they both are. Not just Brennan, but Koy likewise. There were some really strong climbers in there. Chris Hamilton was the best placed of all the riders and became the virtual leader on the road. The Aussie riding for Picnic Post-NL. And then gradually, as the second lap went on, we started to lose riders from the front of the race. Chris Hamilton led over the top of the Bukovina wall and took maximum points there, but with 50k to go, Colby Simmons was looking really good, the American for EF Education Easy Post. In fact, he looked great throughout the whole stage as well, climbing really well and attacking without holding back too much. He was wound back in, and it's because the race was coming under the control of a combination of Bahrain victorious for Antonio Tiberi and UAE Team Emirates, who increasingly looked like they were working for Brandon McNulty, not least ahead of that time trial tomorrow, in which he is probably one of the favourites. There was Olav Koy back there, already suffering after all of his early efforts, and we saw a number of probing attacks from the Polish champion, last time racing in his national stage race, Rafał Majka, riding really strongly at the front, but definitely in a support role for possibly Jan Christen, possibly Brandon McNulty. We waited to see. Quinten Hermans was in good form for Alpecin de Koenig. He was being followed by Matthew Riccitello, the American, the young American, again having a very good day out today. The crucial point was all that attacking at the front had shaken out the yellow jersey. Paul Lapera, who'd been wearing that jersey since his stage 2 win in Karpacz, was distant, but I have to say, fighting his way back in brilliantly. Look at that, he got back to the front of the race as well and actually did a lot of that by himself. Once he was there, Stander Wolf in front of him, working to protect him as well, and then came a sprint for bonus seconds, an opportunity for Brandon McNulty to try and remind people how well he can sprint. Antonio Tiberi went after him, but Brandon McNulty getting those 3 bonus seconds, buying himself even more of a buffer potentially ahead of tomorrow's time trial. And the yellow jersey was trying to battle his way back in again one more time, but it seemed that the crash, the broken ribs, and the whole week of defending that jersey since Tuesday was just taking its toll on Paul Lapera. And so our attention focused to the front and who would be the next wearer of that yellow jersey to carry it into the time trial. Brandon McNulty was increasingly looking like the yellow jersey elect. Antonio Tiberi was following everything. That's Filippo Zanna in the purple of Jaco Alula. He was also looking really good, amongst the best of those that could cope with these steep ascents. Matthew Riccitello, the American there, with the blue and white sleeves of Israel Premier Tech, also, as he has done throughout this race, looking really, really good. So was Alberto Bettiol, it has to be said, in the colours of XDS Astana. You could just see him there winding his way over the top. This was the final ascent of the Bukovina wall, and Rafał Majka had one last kick in him as well, to try and put the pressure on others and take the pressure off Jan Christen, Brandon McNulty, his teammates. UAE Team Emirates so strong in this race. This was the final 2k. After all that protection work, Brandon McNulty not wanting to wait on the 4-kilometre ramp to the finish at the Tartsinka Bukovina finish. And he went off. It would of course be Antonio Tiberi trying to chase him. Tiberi himself being chased as well. Brandon McNulty then kicking off the back of Antonio Tiberi and going again as well. McNulty looking really strong in this finale, particularly as it started to flatten out. Ricky Tello finding himself caught on the front of that chase behind, and then Brandon McNulty got himself into time trial mode and just stuck his head down, started getting on with it. Antonio Tiberi was just fading a little bit, and it was looking at this stage like Brandon McNulty was rounding in on the stage win and the 10-second bonus. But look at the man coming. Victor Langelotti of Ineos Grenadiers, the man from Monaco. Monaco, a country who've never won a World Tour men's professional race. Could he do it? He was closing. Final bend. Brandon McNulty knew he was coming. Victor Langelotti on the hood, rolling that bike all over the place, came round him, and then we knew it was going to happen. The biggest win of his career and the biggest win for his country here in the World Tour as well. What a fantastic performance for Victor Langelotti. He was in second at the start of the day anyway. He took the 10-second bonus, and he will wear the yellow jersey going into tomorrow's time trial. He'll need the time trial of his life to bring this race home, but I tell you what, he is in absolutely cracking form. What can Brandon McNulty do about it tomorrow? Well, we'll wait and see. But this evening, this Saturday evening, this man, Victor Langelotti, can be delighted. He really has come of age. And that's why Ineos Grenadiers signed him, just in case anyone was wondering. They'll have known exactly what he has under the locker to do that. He took the win ahead of Brandon McNulty and Pale Bilbao it was, overlapping with Antonio Tiberi. Johannes Stauni-Mitet in fourth as well. Yannis Voisar with another good finish in sixth. Marco Frigo was there, as was Mateo Sobrero. Rafa Majka there in ninth ahead of Jan Kristen. Victor Langelotti was enjoying his time on the podium, and well he should. He's ridden this race perfectly so far, but he will need a big time trial tomorrow, that is for sure. Look at the buffer it gives him, not much over Brandon McNulty, just the 10 seconds that he has over the American. The American, definitely the time trial favourite in amongst that top 10. You are going to have to tune in tomorrow to see what happens in that 12.5 kilometre salt mine time trial. It's going to be a cracker. Don't miss it tomorrow.